So yesterday we caught a nice mess of crappie, and today we're going to walk through cleaning them. First thing I want to go through is kind of the tools to get started. Obviously you want to have either a nice sharp knife or an electric knife if you're going to use that. You want something to put the fillets in. I like to have either a 5-gallon bucket or like a small trash can with plastic bags in it. I like having a hose to rinse the fillets off with as I'm cleaning and kind of keep my cutting board clean. And then personally, I like to have another cutting board there to elevate the fish so that I can kind of get a good flat cut with my blade. So we're gonna go through that. We'll show you a couple different ways to clean the fish, and then hopefully you'll learn something. We talk a lot about having kids, giving them a role in it, whether it be fishing. Something that you can do as well with your children when you're cleaning fish is if you have a scaler or a spoon around, you can actually hand them that, and they can be involved in the process if they're too young to like use a knife. So they can use the scaler and begin taking the scales off the fish like that, so that when you go to fillet them, there won't be any scales, and then the kids feel involved in the process, which is great. I remember when I was very young, probably until I was old enough to use a knife, my dad would give me this and we would be out there. That was something that we did together, was clean fish. So I was out there doing my part, helping to do that. And there's also a lot of people who feel as if having skin on the fish actually makes the taste better as well. So that's one thing that you can do. So I've already scaled that side of the fish, so all the scales are gone off this side. And then what you'll do is you begin by taking your knife, and you're going to work from right here up the dorsal, and then you'll come out the bottom and go out. So as we do that, I'll kind of show you how that works. But your first cut is going to be right here, right behind the head, and you kind of angle towards the head a little bit. And then as you do that, you'll get down to the backbone. And then when you do that, you turn your knife a little bit, and as you can see, you're going to go along top right here on the inside of that dorsal fin and the spine. And so what you're going to do is you're going to work that edge right there all the way down about halfway. So I'll go ahead and do that. And it's really easy when the scales are off. So the tip of your knife is going down to the ribs. So you'll see you're getting about that far down. And then when you do that, you get about halfway down past the ribs, and then you're actually going to push your knife all the way through the bottom, and it's going to come out right by the bottom fin. You can see my knife come out right there. And the other important part that a lot of people, you'll forget and you'll realize you missed some meat. You want to keep your knife blade turned down a little bit and stay close to the backbone. So then you're just going to go on out just like that right there. So now that fillet is off, and you're going to come back, just run your knife a couple times like that, take it off the ribs, and then on this side you're going to cut that away, and your fillet is completely done. So when you're done with that, you have a nice size fillet off that crappie. You have the skin still on here, and that one is ready to be washed and eaten. So you can see that we didn't leave a lot of meat here. We got close to the backbone. We could have gotten a little bit more here, but that's a good clean fillet. So then we'll do the same thing on the other side. And one thing to keep in mind is as you're cleaning fish, you'll actually have a preference which side of the fish you do better on and the way you hold it. So you'll learn that as you kind of move along. But as this is for people who haven't cleaned a lot of fish, don't expect to do it well the first few times that you do it. It is a learning process. I have cleaned literally hundreds of thousands of pounds of fish because I worked in Alaska, so I'm very comfortable doing this. So already scaled the other side. Your 6-year-old could have done that just there for you. I'm going to go down above the back, just like we talked about, right behind the head. I'm going to work down that dorsal fin just like that. As I said, you're going down till you feel the ribs. You can see that there. Then as you get beyond the ribs, which is just above that fin at the bottom, you can see where my knife's coming out. Keep that blade tip turned down. You just kind of slide all the way out. Come back, 1, 2 cuts right there, and you're going to go all the way through, being conscious of your knife. And then that one's done as well. So that is completely done. And it's nice because you didn't get into the gut cavity. You can see, did a good job cleaning both sides of that. There's some scales on there that we'll rinse off. And then I also keep a hose with me here. so I can rinse my hands off as I'm doing it, as well as rinsing my table and my fish off while I'm doing it. Another thing that I'm generally doing is I'm holding the fish by its mouth as I'm cleaning it. I know there's some fillet boards that hold them down, but most of your fishermen are going to hold them by the mouth. I scaled the last ones as an example of that. Some people don't do that. You can also take your knife and do the same thing without scaling. So you're going to go through the back, down just like that, same as last time, going up the backbone staying on the same side. It makes it a little bit more difficult the first couple times you're doing it because the scales don't allow your knife to kind of run true. They'll try to push it off one direction or next. But you're going to go down that backbone, kind of get halfway. You're going to stop at the ribs, at the end of the ribs, move the knife all the way through, coming out the bottom, keeping that blade turned down. You're going to go out from under, then you're going to come back. You're going to come up those rib bones, the outside right there. You're going to trim that off, coming around underneath so you don't waste any meat. And there you go. So now, since we didn't scale this one, we have to take the skin off. So you can see we did a nice job getting the meat. You got all the way to the backbone. But now you have to do an extra step. So you hold on to the bottom of the fillet and you flipped it over. So it's skin side down, skin side, scale side down. You're holding it with your fingernail or with something. Sometimes I'll leave a little bit of meat right there to hold on to, just a little bit. And then I'm kind of pushing, I'm turning, you can see I've got my knife kind of turned at a 20-degree angle and I'm going backwards up the back of the thing. So now you have, that silver's fine, but you have no skin at all. This is scales and all. That's ready to go to be rinsed off and put in the thing, but you didn't have to scale that one. So you don't have to scale them. You don't have to eat them with the skin on. Fillets are the same, you know, but it's a little bit different of a process. So we'll do the same thing on the other side here.